Welcome back, guys. UC Organics coming to you with an update. Today is April the 16th. We've got some very cool weather. So I've covered my grapevines to anticipate and to block off some of that cold wind to protect those buds that are breaking out. Now, what I am right now, I am in bed number 4, and as you can see, we've got lots and lots of growth here. It's time to do some thinning for the beets, the radishes, the carrots. We're gonna wait a little bit longer. As you can see, we've got 4 full rows of carrots. Lots of magnificent growth we've got going on here. But as you can see, we're pretty close to harvest for the radishes. I would probably say another 10-15 days at the most, and we should be pulling radishes out of the ground. Beets, they're doing very well. We're starting to get nice large leaves. As you can see, we've got full growth all the way down on everything. The hoop tunnels definitely work, guys. Let me give you a shot of the grapevines. So I've got a partial hoop tunnel over the grapevines to protect them from the harsh wind and if it does any kind of raining, because the temperature is now in the 30s. We're at about 36 or 37 degrees. Even though we have clear skies, there's always a possibility. There are some clouds for rain, so we want to protect those as much as possible. So let's move on to bed number 3. Bed number 3 is where we have our potatoes and our early peas. Now, as you can see, the early peas are doing very well. Lots and lots of growth, phenomenal growth on all of this product in here. And as you can see, all the potatoes are up, looking very well. It would be time to heal these potatoes in just a little bit. We give them another week of growth and they should be tall enough to heal. And as you can see, all the way down, we've got full growth on these potatoes. Everything is looking very, very well. Even down towards the middle there, we've got even some taller ones, almost 12 inches out of the ground. Remember, guys, these again are 3 different varieties of potatoes, and it looks like the red potatoes are growing much faster than the other 2, which is these here. So the other 2 are just a little bit slower in growing, but it is a different variety, so we'll just wait and see what happens with that. The early peas are now just getting ready to catch on to the trellis string, so growth is doing and coming along very well. Because the temperature is the way it is today, it's a little cool because of the wind. I'm going to leave the hoop tunnels on today. I'll just leave one open, but I definitely will leave them covered. All right, let's move on to bed number 2. As you can see, bed number 2 also has phenomenal growth. We seem to have a lot more growth down towards the middle and the opposite end than on this end here. Now, I can't explain why that is. Everything is growing nicely, but there may be a temperature shift because I keep this end open. So that is a possibility. I'll just have to investigate more. But as you can see, onions are doing very well all the way down. Our Georgia collards making their move. They're doing very well. The same with the Georgia collards and the onions. On this end, the growth is slower than towards the middle and at the opposite end. So what I'm going to do from this point on out, I'll start shooting the video from the opposite end and keep this one closed and see if that changes. So phenomenal growth, guys. bed number 2. Now bed number 1, I've got it covered up. There's no growth in it yet. I've got sweet corn. I've got 3 rows of sweet corn all the way down. So we're looking at about right at 90 feet of sweet corn. And I've got some pole beans planted right here at the end. And I'll build a trellis here outside of the bed to allow those pole beans to grow up. So those aren't quite ready, so there's no need to video any of that. You don't want to look at just dirt. So it'll probably be a week or so before we get any of that product up. As you can see here, the apple tree blossomed out very well, looking very nice. The blackberries are coming along very well. Got my fencing up all the way around. Did a little redesigning so that on the back side here I can get my lawnmower down and do clear cutting. So I put the post on the inside of the bed instead of having it on the outside. Now as you can see, I've got my drip irrigation in. I've got soaker hose going all the way down the grapevine, the blackberries, so that we can keep those freshly watered, especially when they get developing fruit. Now in my my beds or my compost piles here, we've got cantaloupe that are actually coming up and out of the ground. Watermelon, they are actually coming up as well. They're just starting to bulge up out of the ground. And honeydew as well. So everything seems to be working very well, especially with these grow tunnels. Now again, I'm getting full sun on these grow tunnels all day long until about 6 o'clock in the afternoon. Then I'm starting to get a little shade, but I'm getting full sunlight all day. So these products work very well, and the way I have the bed set up, they're exposed to the sun all day long. And that's what you want to do. You want to put your beds in a position where they get full sunlight so that you can maximize the potential of nature itself. As you can see, they're all covered. And they all have moisture and on the inside, doing very well, producing lots and lots of fresh, phenomenal growth. I'm just going to swing over here and show you these grapevines here. As you can see, I've got them covered up all the way down. This is 36 feet. And I'm going to peep up under and take a look and see if we can see some grapevines here and see what we got going on. Okay, so as you can see here, we've got some growth. Now, this one here started leaf curling just a little bit because of the cold weather we had last night. So we'll wait and see what happens with it today. We're getting plenty of sun underneath the grow tunnel. But as you can see, we've got good growth all the way down. Lots and lots of buds, even down on the bottom here. So hopefully, you know, we change that and protect those buds from this cold temperature with this hoop tunnel that we have. Okay, let's take a look at our cherry tree and the plum tree. The cherry tree and the plum tree. As you can see, guys, we've got lots of plums on this tree here. Let's get a little focus. Lots of plums all up and down the entire tree. Again, those plums are going to be cut off. I like to do things like this on a day when I'm not working. I have to work today, so I'm just making this video before I go to work. And on my next day off, trim most of these plums off so that the tree can focus on actually growing and expanding out as opposed to trying to develop that fruit. The cherry tree, as you can see, lots of blossoms all over the cherry tree. It's just massive all over. Lots and lots of growth on this cherry tree here. We should have lots of cherries on it. As long as we don't get one of those real freeze cold spells come through and wipe them all out, we should get cherries. Now, again, this is an early Montgomery. So you don't need another pollinator. But you definitely want to monitor to see what's going to happen, because it's too cold for now bees to be out. So if you're going to have a cherry tree, you definitely want to have one that is self-pollinating, so that you don't have to worry about having a second tree or bees at this particular point. Blackberries are doing very well. We got lots of growth. Even the new plant. Now, we talked about next year what the vines are going to look like. Now, I'm going to show you guys. Those are the blackberries for next year. Those are going to grow up, and as it grows up and gets a certain height, I'll show you exactly what I do to produce maximum blackberries. As you can see, I've got plenty of them coming up out of the ground already. Even with the new plant, there's primocane coming up. Let's take a look and see if I can find another one. Okay, right here, there's another one there. So as these come up, they're going to reach a certain height, and then I'll tip them, and then they're going to produce lots and lots of side laterals. Those side laterals is where I'm going to get all that growth and all those berries next year. So just wanted to give you guys a quick update as to how things are going, what we're looking like, and what we're doing. Again, I talked about the temperature, and you have to constantly monitor what's going on. Now, especially with me growing as much product as I'm growing, I have to make sure that I protect the product, and I do whatever is necessary. Strawberries doing very well. We still have continuous growth. Don't have to worry about protecting those. They're very cold hardy. But as you can see, guys, we're ready. We're organized, and we're going to get lots and lots of good product growing this year. So until next time, UC Organic, Backyard Gardening, St. Louis, Missouri. Anybody can do it, guys. Signing out. Happy gardening.